Well, it's a game day, Caps fans. I think. Honestly, at the time I'm recording this, I don't even know anymore.
Your Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Capitals. I am your host, as always, the insider of the insiders, Tyler Kuehl. Literally, distraught. Distraught is the word. Yes, I know. Yes, there's a Washington Capitals game tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. Allegedly. So first of all, before we get too far into this, today's episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks, the perfect gift, because sometimes getting the perfect gift is a little too tricky. Omaha Steaks is the perfect gift. Go to omahasteaks.com right now and enter NHL to get the perfect gift package for just under $100. And by using the promo code NHL at omahasteaks.com. And as always, thank you very much for making Locked On Capitals your first listen on your favorite podcatcher and your first watch if you're checking us out on the Locked On Capitals YouTube channel. Now, why am I distraught? Why am I confused? Why am I sitting here right now trying to figure out what in the blue blazing what is going on here? Well, first of all, yes, the Washington Capitals have COVID issues. That is pretty obvious, pretty apparent. And for better or worse, at least we're very knowledgeable of what is going on. Everything is pretty pretty open, out in the open. We kind of know who is going to be in the lineup, who is out of the lineup, so on and so forth. Well, Nick Dowd and Trevor Van Riemsdyk did not practice today for the Washington Capitals because they will not be allowed to go to Winnipeg because of the fact that due to the COVID protocols in Canada, those players, even if they test negative at this point, it'd be too late for them to play. So we'll get to the game and what the COVID issues kind of means, but that's my thing. We are now out in the open of who is on the COVID list. Unfortunately, it continues to grow every single day. Now, I am not sure. Looking at the games that are going on tonight, right now on my television, I have the Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers playing in overtime at Centre in front of an empty building. This was because the Montreal Canadiens, excuse me, abiding by the Quebec provincial government for asking for them to not have fans because of the massive surge in cases. Not just the National Hockey League, guys. This is not just pro sports. This is not just sports. This is the entire world that we've seen this happen. And great hockey game too, back and forth. The Flyers desperate to get back on the winning track. The Canadiens trying to get something going. Sean Couturier just got buried into the goal behind Caden Primo of the Habs, and a little bit of a scuffle happens once again in empty seats in Bell Center in Montreal. We talked yesterday about the sanctions in Ontario. I actually had a conversation. I had a meeting earlier with Sean Woodley, who is our boss here at Locked On and is also the host of Locked On Raptors. So it certainly has something to do with his line of work, given the fact that he covers the Raptors. And so it's a very weird situation. Players are going in still left and right. Like this is the third day of the COVID surge across the National Hockey League. Cale Makar's on the COVID list. Did Laurent Brossoit, was that legit? Someone told me he left the bench for the Vegas Golden Knights. And as far as, yes, he's not. Let's see. Took the game warm-ups. Presumably start unknown. Laurent Brossoit not on the bench, but it is unsure if it's because of an injury or is it because he got pulled during COVID? This is something that has happened for a while now. This is something that's happened where players get pulled in the middle of games because of COVID tests that happen later after the fact. Darcy Kemper was also added to the COVID list, speaking of the Colorado Avalanche. Now, why am I bringing up all these players? Because COVID is a severe issue. We will get to a preview of the game. I'm going to, the second part of this show today will kind of pertain to the fact that there is a hockey game going on tonight between the Winnipeg Jets and the Washington Capitals. But right now, I'm going to read you a tweet put out by Saad Youssef. Saad Youssef 126 on Twitter, who covers the Dallas Stars for The Athletic. Also does other things as well. Is on Tier 69 at 96.7, 1310 the ticket down there in Dallas. Long story short, though, he put out this tweet. He says, "Tonight in sports, feels like March 11th, 2020. For those that don't remember, that was the day when we were all really wondering, should there be games going on? And the beginning of really everything that is still relevant today. Mask wearing, vaccines, everything that I don't say we could fear is coming back around, but it has this feeling of like I said, I'm watching this hockey game, a magnificent game between two lower teams right now, but two teams trying. One team has something to prove that maybe has a chance to get back in the race. The Canadiens are Montreal right now, but no fans. Saturday night at Scotiabank Arena, Leafs return home, big game, no fans. And, that's, pardon me, or not this Saturday, sorry, but starting Saturday, Toronto will only be allowed to have half capacity. Shoot, here in Grand Rapids, there's a chance the Griffins and Marlies may not play this weekend. Toronto Marlies, the farm club of the Leafs, because of the fact that there's COVID there's players with COVID. At least one player that I know of who has COVID for the Marlies, and I'm not sure if anyone has it for Grand Rapids, but there's maybe no games that come up. There may be no games in Grand Rapids this weekend. So it's not just the NHL, it's the American League, the OHL as well. I believe was it the Kingston Frontenacs that had to suspend operations, or I apologize. I may be wrong. Let me actually pull that up for you. Yes, this is a very bumbling start to today's show, and I do apologize. But you have to hear me out, folks. Like, this is it's an issue right now. I don't know how else to describe this. Let me see. Owen Sound, excuse me, the Owen Sound attack. And I should remember that because Mike Stubbs, friend of the show, Mike Stubbs, was able to put it out there saying that the game between the London Knights and the Owen Sound attack was postponed. And that's also for the rest of the week and weekend as well for the Owen Sound attack. Am I going to be talking about nothing by next week? I get it. Like, they're going to try everything they can, but all of these players that are testing positive, and obviously the NHL wants it to be where the NHL players are the ones playing, not just bringing up, you don't want to have the Hershey Bears play for the Washington Capitals, even though right now, knock on wood, the Caps are relatively okay in terms of the number of cases. Calgary Flames have been hit like a bombshell out there right now. It's very tough for them, to say the least. And there's other teams that are having issues. Like I said, Colorado's losing two of their top players. Their number one goaltender and their possible Norris Trophy winning defenseman. And of course, they had McKinnon with COVID issues at the beginning of the season. And this is a problem that the NHL is trying to figure out. And it's, what we say today may not be the same tomorrow. We said, there's no way the league's going to do a pause. Well, it may be. Because at what point are we going to say we're postponing literally all the games because no one can play? Obviously, it's very hard to do that when you have about, I think we had, 9 games on the calendar tonight on this Thursday night. I'm recording this just wondering what's going to happen when I wake up tomorrow. Like, honestly, by the time you hear this, by the time I listen back to this tomorrow, all of this may be outdated. My preview of the Winnipeg Jets game may literally be a joke. Now, knock on wood, as far as we know, once again, the Winnipeg Jets are pretty okay with their COVID issues as of right now. Really, the only thing they have is an injury to Blake Wheeler and a couple of players for the Washington Capitals, but they'll be able to play through that. They'll be able to get past it and have a full lineup tomorrow night in Winnipeg. It's hard. Because I remember, my old show, the Kuehl show, which is the shirt I'm wearing, which I'm wearing for the second day in a row. I'm sorry, I'm pretty lazy today. But I remember we did the show. I believe it was March 11th. It would have been March 9th or 8th. It was the Tuesday before. Can I go that far back? I have to now. Now I have to for my own sake. Let's go to March of 2020. March 10th. So we did the show March 10th. And so the day before, Rudy Gobert and tested positive. The Dallas Mavericks played a basketball game with Mark Cuban doing an interview on the sideline when the NBA said they were going to postpone the season. We did a show on Tuesday saying, what's going to happen? How is COVID going to affect the NHL? And I asked my wife, who at the time was still, a registered nurse, she was working. And I asked her, hey, what could happen here? It's like, well, this could be bad. By the way the things are looking right now, it just seems like it's a pretty bad flu and maybe a little, pretty severe. And we're going to try to do the best we can, keep clean and, mind your business and wash your hands and all that good stuff. Wear a mask, that was starting to become a thing around that time. And the next day, hit the shan. And the rest of our lives were changed forever. Now, I don't know how much our lives could change from then at this point now. Like I said, tomorrow the league could postpone, and that's at this point, it's a possibility. But it won't, it wouldn't be a surprise to that point. It's my saying is that it'll be back to where things were then. And I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know I don't know what I'm doing here. That's the crazy thing. Like, I feel like I am prepping a hockey game that literally in 4 days just may not matter. It's hard to guess what's going to happen. The NFL is not going to postpone. The NBA, while they're having issues of their own with COVID, they're not going to postpone either. You can call it what you will. Yes, the Canadian teams are the ones that are limiting capacity, and no one's doing it down here in the States because who was it? Rash Madani put it out. I was on Tim and Sid the other day or whatnot. He said that, no one's going to be I'm paraphrasing. No one's going to be postponing games or taking off 3 weeks or putting a pause to the season when money and checks are coming in. Before this, I had the Florida Panthers game on, and they were trailing to the Los Angeles Kings. By the way, this one's in a shootout now between Montreal and Philadelphia. But that game was at FLA Live. FLA Live. I almost said BB&T Center. That game was just about what Florida typically would have for a home game. Same thing for, just about every other game that's being played down here in the U.S. Is that going to be the case? I don't know. If anything happens, the NHL is going to be the one that's going to have to step in to put crowd capacity limits. If they want that to be the case, if they want to make a change. Because the teams won't do it. The local governments will not do it. The league or like I said, in the arena staff won't do it probably because they're just going to follow local government guidelines. Like it's just really tough right now. We'll get to the game here. I'll do the game preview here next. I know this. Please bear with me, folks. I do apologize. And if you turned it off by now, I totally understand. I get it. You guys probably don't want to hear someone talk about COVID, how it's bad. I know I've talked about it for the last 3 or 4 episodes, but it continues to keep going and going and going and going. Like this is something that's just going to keep hanging around. And unfortunately, I don't see a 180 of this story anytime soon. I don't see it getting better anytime soon. It's a very hard concept to wrap my head around. I'm going to be going to Christmas Eve next Friday with family, and I'm just going to honestly look around. I'm like, should I even stand here? Should I even be here? That's a real question I'm having in my head right now. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But first, guys, I got to remind you that today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Omaha Steaks. With the holidays right around the corner, as I mentioned, finding the perfect gift is a little tricky. Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family unforgettable gifts guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com right now and enter NHL into the search bar to order the perfect gift package. For $99.99, you'll get 24 entrees like the world-famous bacon-wrapped filet mignon, chicken breasts, sides, desserts, and so much more. And when you use the code NHL, you'll get an additional 8 Omaha Steaks burgers free with your order. We've all heard the reports about shortages and shipping delays, so don't wait. Order the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com to get 8 free burgers when entering the code NHL. Achieve gifting greatness with Omaha Steaks with incredible flavor, incredible value, and 100% guaranteed. Once again, omahasteaks.com, keyword NHL. And guys, Built Bar, it's back for the holiday season. Grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar or even better than a candy bar. Built Bar is filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavors, covered in chocolate but amazingly low in calories, as well as sugar, net carbs, and fat, and of course, high in protein. You get the best both of worlds with Built Bar, delicious and healthy. So many flavors, you'll have a hard time choosing. Will it be raspberry, mint brownie, cherry, or double chocolate cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie? Built Bar gives you that extra fuel as well to need to bust down those mall doors and battle the holiday shoppers. Or if you even just standing in line for endless periods of time, Built Bar can give you that extra something you need to keep going. So throw it in your jacket or purse because you never know when you're going to need it. Go to built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That is LOCKED15 at built.com for 15% off your first order. So the game just ended, by the way. The Canadiens end up winning in a shootout. However, it ended with a little bit of controversy. The final shooter for the Philadelphia Flyers, I can't remember his name. I have to quickly look here because I lost it. It was Cam Atkinson. Cam Atkinson was the last shooter. He ends up getting stopped by Caden Primo, but ends up barreling into him. Primo's down on the ice for a minute, and Montreal Canadiens are having problems with their goaltenders, kids. Obviously, Jake Allen is having issues, and obviously Carey Price is still out for the foreseeable future. I don't see him coming back anytime soon. But boy, what a tough way to end it. So, hey, you know what? There you go. Canadiens win their 7th win of the season. Philly stays below 500 at 11-12 and 3, or 11-12-5 on the season. So let's get to the game tonight. The game that is going to happen. The game that is going to happen tonight, because it's going to happen. We're going to keep playing hockey. We're going to get through this together as a group, as a smart, vaccinated, and if you can get a booster group. Yes, that's how it's going to be. Hooray. Here we go. Winnipeg Jets and the Washington Capitals. The Capitals trying to battle their way back towards the top of the National Hockey League. And right now, they're in a fight for the top of their division. 3-way tie right now with the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers, as I believe the Hurricanes end up winning tonight. Well, they're winning right now. If they do win, they will get sole possession of first in the Metropolitan Division. They're up 4-3 right now, late in the third period against the Red Wings. So that would put them in first. Right now, 3-way tie, 41 points apiece between the New York Rangers, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Washington Capitals. Winnipeg Jets, they are also in a division battle of their own. Right now, they are sitting back to 5th. What the heck? Yeah, back to 5th in the Central Division, and I looked down the wrong column. I saw 106 for Minnesota. I'm like, are these last year stats, or are we already in May? Holy moly, I almost had a panic attack. Winnipeg is sitting there with 31 points, which is it's a crazy division the Central is. Obviously, Colorado's been playing hot right now. They're winners of the last 5. They're playing Nashville right now in a good, tight hockey game, which is, once again, another Central Division battle because there's Nashville sitting in 4th right behind them. And the Jets, they stumbled. They've lost back-to-back games. They've only won 4 of their last 10. But, this, and obviously losing their captain, Blake Wheeler, for what could be the foreseeable future right now is certainly a tough blow. But this is still a good hockey team. It's a much more improved team. And even though, yes, this is the Winnipeg Jets that did make it to the second round of the North Division playoffs last year, I still think this team looks a lot better, a lot tougher, and maybe a little more, I can't say mature, but it just seems like this team is more together than they were last year. Kyle Connor's off to another great start. 18 goals, 14 assists, 32 points. This team has 3 guys that have 20 or more points, and unlike the Washington Capitals, 3 players with 10 goals or more. That being Pierre-Luc Dubois, who I think is really starting to settle in his role with the Jets. 25 points, 14 goals. And Nikolai Ehlers with 11 and 7 for 18. Andrew Kopp's in the middle between all those guys with 20 points in himself, 7 goals, 13 assists. They've been up and down a little bit. And like I said, they're kind of on a little bit of a downturn right now, but I think they have the capabilities of bouncing back. The hard part for them will be trying to find a way to get some consistency without their captain. I know people can always say, oh, it's just one guy. It's one hockey player. But yeah, when you have a stature like Blake Wheeler's had, like I said, I believe, I'm not mistaken, him and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to quickly look down the list of who else was left from the Atlanta Thrashers. And I'm not getting anyone. Mark Scheifele wasn't there, right? Right? I'm going to quick click his stats because I have to now because I don't think he was. No, he was not. Partially his first year, Mark Scheifele played 7 games in the return season for the Winnipeg Jets. So, yes, to my point, I was right. The last remaining Atlanta Thrasher on this Winnipeg Jets team is Blake Wheeler. So, yeah, that's kind of a tough pill to swallow when you lose a guy like that. The goaltending, though, has been solid, I believe. Eric Comrie, who I know he's played limited time, but Eric Comrie, who just found a way to just keep coming back to the Manitoba Moose or even the St. John's Ice Caps, kept coming back into the Winnipeg system somehow time and time again. Finally got a good string of games here with the team that originally drafted him, right? Yeah. With the Winnipeg Jets, drafted him in the second round that many years ago, back in 2013. That was holy cow, that was my draft year. And I say that oh yeah, I could have been drafted 7th round or something. Yeah, I was in high school. No, that was not going to be a thing. Conor Hellebuyck's having a solid year. 2.70 goals against average. I know it's not mind-blowing numbers with a 10-8-4 record, but 9.15 save percentage. He hasn't been awful. He had a really hot start to this season. Like I said, with the rest of the team, they've kind of cooled off a little bit, as the province of Manitoba has. If you haven't seen the temperatures and kind of snow they've gotten up there at times. But yeah, I like the way this team has been playing, and I think this is not going to be an easy game for the Washington Capitals. Also considering the fact for the Washington Capitals, they will be flying up on Friday to go play. They are doing additional testing on Thursday as well as Friday morning. So they're really flying up. They took another practice in Chicago Thursday to make sure, just get some ice down, and looks like they're going to go fly up, play the game, probably get there a few hours before, maybe take a nap in a hotel, and go play the hockey game. This will be a very interesting test for this team because it's like a preseason game. They do this for preseason, but obviously this is the regular season, and the Caps want to get back after a little bit of that letdown against Chicago on Wednesday night. I don't know what day it is anymore. Jeez, moly. But the tough part's going to be getting a good start. When you have jet legs, bus legs are tough. If you play high school hockey or college hockey and you bus out to a game across state or something for one night, you don't get there early in the day or you don't stay there the night before, it can be a little bit taxing on you to try to get going, get the blood flowing. And, I think the Capitals are going to have to try to overcome that. If they fall behind early, it may be tough to get back because it's one of those games where you're kind of just like, well, what are we supposed to do here? And I'm not saying that they should take this night off because it's not like I said, the end of their calendar year gets a little bit tougher. They come back home on Sunday to take on the Los Angeles Kings, who are looking pretty good against the darn good Florida Panthers tonight, like I said. So it's not like you can say, all right, well, let's just take this night off. We got a game on Sunday. Let's worry about it then, because you don't want to give up points. And I'm not quite sure what the starting goalie situation is going to be. I know Samsonov had a tough one, so maybe you go with Vanacek in this case just because Samsonov probably just needs a bit of a reprieve. Maybe give him a shot again against Jonathan Quick on Sunday. But this is it'll be an interesting stretch here and an interesting day for the Capitals. Now, as far as we know, they are just taking all precautions with the testing, hence why they are staying in Chicago, just to see if guys maybe like Trevor Van Riemsdyk or Nick Dowd could have a chance to go across the border. As of right now, though, like we said, the reason why they didn't practice today is because they couldn't. So, yeah, it's a lot of questions right now. Like I said, by the time we hear this could be a thing where, Dowd and Trevor Van Riemsdyk are going over with the team. Great, awesome. Are they going to play? I don't know, because then again, they haven't really skated much since they were put on the COVID list. Obviously, having Backstrom back is a big part of this. Losing Kuznetsov to COVID, he'll be out, as far as I know, until they come back into DC for the Caps. Whew, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be tough. It'll be a tough game for the Caps, and once again, it's crazy to look at this, but they're staying in Chicago right now, and it's given the fact of having to cross the border with a certain number of players. I would not be shocked if I said to you right now that this game would not happen. I hope it does. I would be bummed if it had to be postponed and put off. Sorry. I didn't mean to. Like I said, I was going to try to stay away from this part of the show, but it's a thing that could happen. We'll take a look at the scores of the games that have ended by the time I'm recording this here, and we'll also take a quick look around any other news that popped up here. But guys, I got to tell you about BetOnline. It has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues its march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website today to sign up and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON, all one word, to receive the bonus. From basketball, football, boxing, UFC, favorite Vegas casino games up to the National Hockey League, do not wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 21-22 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so quick look around the scores here before we wrap things up. Like we mentioned, Montreal shootout winners over Philadelphia. We'll have to wait and see if Caden Primo has any issues. He was holding his lower back. He was skating off the ice, so it's not going to look good for him. Tampa Bay does hold on. They get their 19th win of the season, hanging on against the Ottawa Senators in Amalie tonight. Close one down there. LA picks up their 13th win of the season, trying to get back on the winning track. They win 4-1 over the Florida Panthers in Sunrise tonight. Once again, the Caps will be meeting them on Sunday. Vegas was able to take down New Jersey in a rather high-scoring 5-3 game. Speaking of 5-3, Carolina picks up their 20th win of the season, further extending now their division lead. They are the number one team in the division now, thanks to a 5-3 win over the Detroit Red Wings. Other games going on. I'm not going to go over any spoilers yet. 4 minutes left, though. Islanders up 2-0 on the Boston Bruins, despite getting brutally outshot. If I'm not mistaken, guys, hold on. Let me just make sure before I say anything wrong here. If they were to hold on, it would be the Islanders. Okay, I need the actual standings. I had a different site up for it. Oh, gosh. I got to see this. I need to know. I got to know. Would it be? It'd be their second one. Okay. That's him. Like, I totally forgot that they won a home game previously. I'm like, would that be their first home win of the season at UBS Arena? By the way, remember I always mentioned that I have a TikTok right now. I know it's a little annoying to some people, but I did a cool little video on arenas today. Did you guys know that there's only 10 current NHL arenas that are being used by the NHL teams that have not changed their name since they opened? That is right. Can you guess which 10? Well, if you want, check out my TikTok at TJKU29, just like this down there on my Twitter handle, and check it out. Just posted it today. Anyways, back to the scores. Before we say goodbye for the weekend and for the week. And Nashville up 3-1 right now in the game I have on right now. Nashville outshooting Colorado 3-1, or no, outshooting them 27-14. Now, once again, COVID has been an issue with the Colorado Avalanche. They have a very depleted roster. Minnesota up 2-1 early on in the third period against Buffalo. Edmonton up 3-0 at the end of one against the Blue Jackets. Edmonton a little uneasy after getting their butts kicked by the Leafs on Tuesday night. Vancouver and San Jose yet to start. And Toronto and Calgary with all the games they postponed, that being one against the Leafs. Games on Friday night, though, Vegas, they have a second half of back-to-back taking on the New York Rangers. New York looking for their 20th win of the season. Vegas looking to climb up a little bit more in that Pacific Division. Pittsburgh taking on Buffalo, that being at PP&G Paints Arena. Dallas going to St. Louis to take on the Blues. Jets, of course, in Caps. Hawks and Predators in Chi-Town. The Blackhawks still feeling pretty good after that win the other night against the Capitals. And the Ducks hosting the Arizona Coyotes. That is your 10 o'clock game on Friday night. Games on Saturday and Sunday. You guys know what they are. Check them out, NHL.com. You can find them and all the scores because that's a lot of names to me to read off. That is it for this another week of Locked On Capitals here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Tyler Kuehl saying thank you very much for listening and watching today and every day. Go make Locked On Bets your second listen, guys. Your boy Q and Lee Sterling with your expert analysis on all your betting needs. Follow the show at Locked On Caps on Twitter. and of course, your favorite podcatcher, like I said, or on your favorite YouTube channel as well, Locked On Capitals, of course, to watch us. Follow me, the Insider of the Insiders, Tyler Kuehl, at TJKU29, Twitter, Instagram, and yes, like I said, TikTok. It's a wonderful thing. No, it's not. It's a very weird sideways thing, but it's kind of fun for me it's kind of fun to dink around with sometimes. Well, that is it. I'll be back on Monday. Hooray. I'll be also on the national show on Monday as well, the Locked On NHL show, because I'll be helping preview the World Junior Tournament. Yeah, that's right, kids. I am doing coverage for the World Junior Championships, part of the Locked On NHL channel. So you'll be catching me every single day from not Boxing Day, the day after Boxing Day, December 27th through the end of the tournament, Monday through Friday, every day, giving you the latest on the World Junior Championships. It's so exciting, so much fun. Getting ready for the post-holiday season already. Thank you very much for listening and watching this episode of Locked On Capitals. We'll see you all on Monday, God willing.